what a lot of people got confused with in terms of the past video. They wanted to know what is indeed the Great Divide. And I found it strange that, considering what the video was talking about, I felt like even though I didn't directly address exactly what the Great Divide was, all I was talking about was the Great Divide within the video. And so I'm going to go ahead and take this time to explain to you what the Great Divide is. In fact, when it comes to a very sensitive subject of losing your parents, I've made a whole lot of videos in regards to parents not living up to their divine principles in terms of being parents. I talk about that a whole lot, and I think that I would think that I've talked about that enough for a whole lot of people to understand. When a video like The Great Divide comes up, I figured they should automatically know what I'm talking about. But the Great Divide is is when times like this come, when your parents pass away. The divide is this: some mourn because they had good parents who lived up to the divine principles of what they were supposed to be. Those people mourn because they had good parents. And it's easy for them to, I would say, grieve in the common sense that all of us should grieve, because those parents lived up to those divine principles that the Creator had imbued in them as parents. And so when you're treated right all of your life by way of your parents, who are supposed to be the closest people to you in your life, that are really not supposed to do any immorality to you, when you, I won't say lose people like that, but when those type of people reach their time to where they are supposed to leave the planet Earth in terms of their time in their flesh, we go through this stage where most would say it's a form of an attachment, to where we are no longer able to enjoy the love, the respect, and even the admiration that our parents had for them, and for us, and the admiration that we had for them, simply because they were good parents. They fulfilled exactly what they were supposed to fulfill in terms of what the Creator created them for, and what the Creator created us out of them for. So we understand why you mourn. We understand why you mourn. And we also understand why you try to criticize people as us, who didn't have parents on that divine level. We had parents that were in opposition of what the Creator created them as parents for. And so we grieve in a whole nother sense. Now, the way that we grieve is that we grieve because those parents who did not fulfill the divine principles of the reason why they were ordained parents, they didn't fulfill those things. So going in opposition of the type of parents they were supposed to be, we suffered the abuse, the neglect, and all of those. So that when those parents pass away without resolving our differences, we grieve for another reason. We grieve because of not having what you had. We grieve because of feeling unfulfilled. And so we're put in the position to where we can't grieve like you. And that hurts us, the fact that we can't grieve like you. We should be grieving for our parents in the same way that you grieve for yours, but we can't. And that's not our fault. So that's the great divide, that the parents who were real parents and the parents who were in opposition of the divine principles of what your parents fulfilled, our parents didn't fulfill that. So you grieve because you miss your parents because of all of the love and the respect and everything that they gave you. We we don't miss our parents. Now people may say, well, that's evil. Well, don't blame us. See, the way that we miss our parents is in a sense to where we miss what we never had a chance to experience. So we are left to feel unfulfilled. And so when we have no tears or barely any tears at their funerals, or we don't show up at all, then people like you guys who had very good parents mock and shame us when you don't know our story. And due to the fact that y'all listening to people like Farrakhan and common people who had good parents, when we try to explain to you why we think and feel the way we feel, you don't want to hear it. Oh, no, 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 no. I don't care what they did to you. I don't care what they say to you. It should never affect you in a way to where you have no tears or no honor and respect for your parents' passing. Honor and respect has to be imbued in the children so that when times like that transpire, these children will be able to grieve as you grieve. We will be able to mourn with you as you mourn. That's the great divide. Some of us had good parents. Some of us had parents that were assholes. That's the great divide. And so there's a whole lot of people who had parents that were alcoholics, drug addicts, and then when they eventually killed themselves because they don't care anything about themselves and therefore how their death is going to affect their children because they didn't really care how their lives had affected their children, those children suffer. And as time goes on, those children will say they will be full with a lot of collusion, even during the time of their death. Oh, mama was so sweet. Mama was a good person. And daddy was a good person. They're trying to convince themselves what they wish their parents was. And the reason why they're trying to convince themselves and everyone else that their parents were these things is because they know that their parents were not. They were not good parents. They were not. And that's just the reality of it. And if it's one thing that I've learned in my life is that, and I'm pretty sure a whole lot of you have come in contact with this, if it's one thing that people refuse to accept is the reality of what is. I'm the type of person to where if I'm at someone's funeral and if this person wasn't a good person to my understanding based upon the way that they treated me, if someone asked me, would you like to say a few words? Due to the fact that I didn't have a good experience with this person, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. You know, people say, well, you have to respect the dead. Well, you should go up there and say a few words. You know, you should respect the dead. Now, a man like me, oh, you want me to say a few words? Okay, let me go up here and respect the dead. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to speak how this person was in my particular life. And if it offends people, hey, you say respect the dead, I'm respecting the dead by telling the truth. You could have left me in that seat out there when I chose not to say anything. See, there's some people who would rather just be silent. There's some people who would rather not show up. Now, a whole lot of people may say, well, that's disrespect. That comes from people like yourselves who had good parents. That's just like in that movie, Fences, that Denzel Washington was in. when he caused his son to feel as though all of his life, his father never even liked him, and therefore his father never loved him. And so when he passes on, he came to his mother, while he was in his um, military uniform, and he told his mother that he don't see no reason why he's even here. And he said he's not going to go to the funeral because after all of the abuse that he suffered, he has to utilize this time to say no to him. And then all of a sudden his mother slapped his face and all of that bullshit. But I'm not talking about her. I understood where this young man, how he was feeling, and I also understand why he was still present there. Because he was going through a conflict. I should be here for my father, even though I don't want to be here. And one of the reasons why I know that I should be here is because of the instinctive love that I have inside of me because of this man, in spite of the way that he treated me. But due to the fact that he treated me to the point to where I come up all my life feeling as though he never liked me, that part of me rejects going to pay my respects because I have no respect. I get it. And this is what a whole lot of you don't understand. And it puts you in a position to where you can quickly criticize others who are in our position. It's easy to criticize others. But due to the fact that it's easy to criticize others in our position, should help you understand how ignorant a whole lot of you sound, because you quickly criticize and judge people without doing research. Instead of criticizing people, putting them down, mocking people, why don't you ask some people, why do you feel like that? What did he do or what did she say to make you feel as such? The ultimate betrayal is the betrayal of your parents towards you. And I'm not even going to get into that real deeply because I've already made other videos based upon that in terms of the instinctive love and the established love. But that is the great divide. That is the great divide. Some of you mourn because you had good parents. Some of us on the other side of that dual component, we mourn because of what we didn't have. And it's much easier, and it's much more difficult for us to deal with their death because they left here without resolving their issues with us. So I'm gonna cut this short. So the whole thing is, don't mock other people during the event of their parents passing. And if they think and feel a certain way, and if they choose not to speak for their parents, and if they choose not to even show up for their parents' funeral, don't be too quick to criticize and mock them because they have their reasons. The same as you have your reasons. We all have our reasons for the way that we respond, for the way that we react, and for the way that we are when it comes to that sensitive issue. So don't be too quick to judge and condemn people, because not everybody experienced what you experienced, and you have not experienced what they experienced. So with that being said, I'm gonna cut this short. But as I said before you open up your mouth and you want to criticize and mock somebody, you need to close your mouth and do some research and sit down and talk to these people. You sit down and you talk to them. But I know you probably don't want to do that because that takes compassion in regards to communication. But I would suggest that you stop mocking people because not all of us have the same experience when it comes to real sensitive issues like this. So with that being said, everyone have a good evening and peace. Stay human.